Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever place it is you're tuned on to Solid Jamaa, welcome once again to yet another episode number 25, if I get my facts correct. I'm not so good with numbers, but we're going strong. We thank God for health and for strength. This is a show for men. And once in a while we come and we invite people to come and help us to do everything that there is to do in our show. And we have conversations that are going to help us to understand one or two things about men. In the previous episode, we were talking to Pendo, and I've had some feedback from you guys, and you want Pendo back, and we're going to work on that, and she will be back. My name is Lawrence Namale, and I'm joined with my co-host here.
Hello world. My name is Ngomzi, the Solution Wataba the Second, and it's always a blessing and an honor to come to you, doing this to bring people to a place of growth in all things and all sides. Conversations and insights that are light-bringing, life-giving, and mind-changing. And today we have the most extraordinary storyteller I have met in a while. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Rebecca Kisakye Makyeli. Becky, you're very welcome to Solid Jamaa.
Thank you so much for having me.
And like Lawrence said, that this is a show for men, whom we call Solid Jamaa, and men that we look at as wounded warriors, men who are struggling with all sorts of pain, and many of them are struggling in the dark. And if you know anything about men, is that our machismo and macho-ness makes it hard for us to take grace, receive help, or ask for help.
Right.
But the Bible says that iron sharpens iron, and one man his friend's countenance. And that's why we do what we do, to provide a safe space where a man can be heard, a man can receive a hug, a man can receive help and get a hand up and out of the different fits that men find themselves. And today we are going to delve into the conversation of one of the biggest challenges that men deal with,
right?
And that is mental health. And Lawrence is holding the title, is holding your book, and I've still been trying to understand your title,
right?
Or how you read your title, because when I read woman, fire, grace,
Fire, woman, grace.
Woman,
fire, grace.
So I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself, and even as you introduce yourself, I'd like to ask this question: what makes you cry? And what drives you? And tell us more about yourself even as we get into this conversation. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Just as you introduced me earlier, my name is Rebecca Kisakye Makyeli, but I'm popularly known as Che. A lot of people say Kai, but I understand. It's okay. Right. By then you can do that. But I am a radio host at 104.1 Power FM Uganda. I am a communications consultant. I am an actress. And as of now, I am an advocate for addiction recovery and a motivational speaker, really.
Wow.
All in one package. Your passion is people, I can gather from that.
Yes, from about 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yes. Before that, where were you? What were you doing?
Before that, really, I had no plan.
Right.
In all honesty, there was zero plan. I was basically in survival mode.
Yeah.
In 2020, I was living the last bits and dregs of my 15-year journey of alcohol abuse. I started drinking alcohol at the tender age of 15. A good friend of mine from school introduced me to it. I met him a few weeks ago at Budo League, and he doesn't
just call
drink.
them a good friend.
Yeah. No, he's a good friend.
It's always a good friend.
It's always a good friend, yeah. Never a stranger. It's always a person you know.
Yeah.
So, I had my first drink. I was a teenager, excited to be in the outside world,
Was it your heart beating fast when you,
because I knew I was in good company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I
You
wasn't
felt
frightened.
safe?
I felt safe. I knew nothing would happen. So I had my first drink, and just being the kind of person that I am, the kind of personality that I have, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the night, and as the next day, as soon as I woke up from this crazy hangover, my head was hurting. There's no amount of headaches that was going to help cure that.
What next?
But immediately I opened my eyes, I picked up my phone, called up my friend and said, "Where are we today?" And that was the beginning of.
So you had been hooked of sorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
What makes you cry?
What makes me cry? I'm very much of a hard-hearted person because of the kind of life that
hard-hearted, as in it takes quite a lot to make obstacle me cry. to make you cry. Yeah.
I do know that the number of times when I actually sit and have tears flowing down my face is when I'm in deep worship.
Oh, positive.
Wow, just
you can't explain
on the goodness
of God.
He is.
Exactly. That you are still here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a day that I cried for something I find very shocking to this day. I also want to cry more often than I do. But there was this day I was taking my wife to work, and on the road at Nakawa, just after the lights, guess what? I see this police pickup drive out of its lane and come into our lane and just bully people off the road.
You cried?
I cried the whole day.
Wow.
I cried the whole day. And
were people hurt?
No. What hurt me was how people have this power, and that's what they choose to use it for.
Yeah.
I cried so much that a podcast came out of it to the point that at our wedding, for those who came, we, the Bagole, served our guests.
Wow.
Because of that day that I saw people abuse power. So I realized the thing that makes me cry, abuse of power.
Wow.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
So today we are very pleased to have you because May is Mental Month. Is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
And last week there was an article that came out in the New Vision.
Headline, actually. It was a headline. It was like the headline of the paper.
Yeah.
Screaming headline.
It was a screaming headline of an article.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is what the headline was saying. It was saying that 14 million Ugandans are dealing with mental health.
Yeah. I actually did read that article, but if you actually read if you read the article in depth, the most staggering way of placing that figure is 35 out of 100 Ugandans are dealing with a mental illness.
That was in 2019.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that people don't know.
Before the pandemic.
Yes. So now with the advent of the pandemic, it has more than half. Yeah. But also how he put it is this, that every 3 Ugandans you put together, one of them is dealing with mental health. Every 3 people you see on a border, one of them is dealing with mental health.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's your border?
Oh, wow.
That's a scary thought right there.
Right.
That's the best way I can put it. And you were telling me earlier why you don't drive. Or why you love driving in the Kampala streets.
Yeah.
It's because it's a madhouse.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Everyone is entitled. Everyone thinks they have right of way. Then, just even the state of the roads, it doesn't give me energy to be a part of that mayhem that is the traffic of Kampala.
And so when you think about that, the reason why we asked you to come is because you've written this beautiful book, which is, for lack of a better word, almost like a memoir of your story of redemption. But even before we come to redemption, it's important for us to know, we would like to know, take us through your journey into the abyss of mental. And it's when we talk about mental health, we are linking addictions, substance abuse, to mental health.
Yes.
So if you'd be so kind as to tell us your story and this journey into the abyss.
Okay, my story is long, but I'll definitely try to summarize it. So I began drinking at the age of 15. I had lost my mother a year earlier. my mother she passed away from liver cirrhosis. She was a dysfunctional alcoholic. And being the last born, I think I'm the child who saw the biggest demons. Because it just gets worse and worse and worse towards the end. And so, even trying to explain it to my other siblings now, they even can't fathom it, because when they were younger, they don't remember seeing my mother drink. But me, all I saw growing up was my mother drink and indulge. And I did see what it did to her, the effects that it had on her, on her personally, on us, the kids, because it got to a point when we were afraid to even be walking in the corridors and mom comes out of her room, because you wouldn't know which mommy would walk out. On some days, mommy would walk out when she's bright and sunny in her yellow chitenji and she's ready to face the day. She was a very beautiful woman, had very beautiful long hair. She loved beauty and makeup and all those things. Then on other days, she would just open the door and she's just in this trance and she's just looking in the distance. If you spoke to her, she would back at you, or she would hit you, or she would throw a bottle at you. So it was really like walking on eggshells. And, she passed away in 2005. And actually, her death was actually something that maybe, I'm not sure if I'm over it yet. You really never know if you're over something. Yeah, because she picked me up. I used to play cricket in high school. So she picked me up from
Which high school was this?
King's College, Budo.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course? But she picked me up from school. It was Thursday. We were going for a conference in Zambia. And so she picked me up. We had to pass by the British Council headquarters. British Council was sponsoring the trip. Dreams and Teams is what it was called. And she picked me up. We went to the headquarters, got our itinerary, tickets, and blah, 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 blah. And then we went home. When we went home, she bought gin along the way. And then we go home and she's excited. She's getting drunk. She's on phone calling relatives and siblings and telling them, your sister is here. She's traveling. She's excelling in this and that and that. And, as she's speaking, I was in my room packing my stuff. And then I heard like a thud in the room. And I rushed and I went to see her and I found that she had fallen and the phone was next to her head. And I rushed and I went to wake her up and, she woke up and then she hit me and then she said, what's wrong with you? Why are you touching me? And I said, like, you literally fell on the floor unconscious. And she said, leave me alone and stuff like that. So I was really irritated. And so I walked to my room and I just couldn't wait to just get on that plane and leave, And so we got she called, she was really drunk. We left home at around midnight and she called one of her brothers to drive us, Uncle Robert, to drive us to the airport. She was drinking the whole way, singing along to the radio. And I remember I was annoyed this entire time. I got to, it's called the departures. When you're leaving, I got to departures. I remember she was calling me and saying, bring me something nice and stuff like that. I didn't even hug her. I just went. I said, I just want to go. So I got on the plane. I went to Zambia, had my good time. And then the night before I returned on Monday night, I felt very, very sick, ridiculously sick. At the farewell dinner, I had to leave really early. I wasn't feeling well. I went to the hotel room. I filled up a warm bath of water because I was shivering for no reason. And the next day we got into the flight, we came back. And when I got to arrivals, my mother, I looked for my mother, I couldn't see her. I found my two aunties standing there. But because I was so used to my aunties picking me up from school because mom was too drunk to come, she was even unconscious, she would pick me up.
So
I was like, just another day. So we get in the car and then we drive home. And just as we are about to reach the gate, that corner of Muyenga, as we're about to reach the gate, that's when my aunties told me, hey, Becky, you need to be strong. Mommy passed away on Saturday. She wasn't well. At first I thought these people are pulling my leg, and then we pull up to the gate and I could literally see the King's College Budo bus. I saw my schoolmates, I saw my brother's friends, and that's when it hit me. Do you know what? She's actually gone. Yeah. But it happened really quickly.
Before that you were not drinking?
Who, me? No, I
before
didn't even
the
have the
accident.
desire.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a house where my mom was she was a person who loved life. She was a lover of life. So every weekend we had parties at home, or she would carry us, take us to Gaba Beach for fish. When I was a kid, my goodness, I don't know if you remember an artist called Shalamwana.
Yeah.
I was a Shalamwana fan. I attended a Shalamwana concert when I was 6 years old, in VIP in the front.
Whoa.
I remember
Yeah,
that show.
I've attended so many shows. My goodness, courtesy of my mom.
Speak Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's